did In Common come about? Because I remember when we first started to play, I was like, oh, this is nice. I feel free listening to this.
Yes, I love the song In Common so much. It actually came together in an ill way because it was one of the last songs that we did for the record, and a lot of in the beginning of the album, I really wanted to talk about what's going on with us. Just what's going on with us.
Talk about it.
You know, and where are we and who are we and how are we feeling and how are we dealing and how are we, you know, living and triumphing and also able to be ourselves, you know, because I feel like one of the main themes and topics that I felt I really wanted to talk about was the way that we're so stereotyped, you know what I mean? We even stereotype ourselves.
Yep.
You know, and so like how to break out of this kind of way that we become, you know, 140 characters as opposed to the complex people that we are. And so I found that even though In Common came later, it really talked about, and it really felt like to me, just that feeling of like being a work in progress. You know, like we're all a little bit messed up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're all a little bit trying to figure out, like, who are we and where are we going? And that is, like, the most empowering feeling, to just acknowledge the fact that you're on a journey and, like, who are we?
And love each other on this journey, man.
Right.
We're going to get through it. And I love the video.
That.
I absolutely love the visuals.
Thank
I love
you.
that it's black and white. I love the, you know, for me, one of my best friends, gay, and you know, to see the empowering, you know, vision and the different images, and it made me happy.
Me too, because that's who we all are. Like, who are we all? And just can't we just all be who we are?
Yeah.
And yep, we can. Just be it. Just do it. Do your thing.
You've had, what, 15 Grammys at this point? I mean, listen, I just had to do that real quick. You know what I mean? Just as a little reminder. I mean, do people expect you to just stay as a big celebrity person and not get involved with like the real issues that you talk about? I mean, does the industry, you know, look at you funny a little bit?
I don't think so. I think actually people kind of look to me to be more about the people. You know what I mean? And for the people, and like about what's happening in the world around us, and, you know, honest and communicating, you know, different issues that are happening in the world, just, you know, on a human level, emotional level. I think people want me to do that, and
that's great,
and
man.
I feel really, that's what I want to do, so I'm glad, because I just want to be who I am, you know.
In Common will be off the album. Which, do we know the date, any information on
No date right now, just, you know, starting to just really introduce some new music and understand the spectrum of the titanic energy that's coming with the sound and just with the music and the album and the conversations we're gonna have. And so, you know, somewhere post August.
Okay. I'm not mad. August is pretty, that's coming
not that
up.
far.
That's coming
not
up.
that far, but it's definitely, you know, when the time is right, it's going to be here.
Is Egypt going to produce a record on it? Are we going to get a beat?
I have been asked that before. I have been asked if Egypt was going to produce on it. He doesn't have a song on the album. He didn't write me one.
Did you talk to his agent first?
I'm going to have to call his people. I'm like, he wrote Kendrick one, but you know, he didn't write me one yet. Although he did have a vibe the other day that was cool. I had to record it. It was good. Something about hate to love, or love to hate, or hate to love. I don't know. He was playing with something.
Maybe you guys just don't have the budget for him right now.
Right.
You know?
I don't think so.
It's fine. And look, I know his people. I'll make a call for you. It's not a problem. So I'm excited about this album. Just, you know, being that I've always been a fan, I love seeing women and doing their thing, and empowerment is so important. Right now, what are we going to hear on the album? Anything like you're excited for, a feeling that we're going to take away, or it's just we don't know, and it's just it's going to be magical?
No, I mean, what I do know, obviously I do know, but you are going to feel, I feel like you're going to feel things you never felt before. That's something that I hear a lot from people who hear the music. They are really struck by it. Like, it feels like something that's brand new, and at the same time it feels very familiar. People have told me that it feels like to them the prelude even to songs in A minor in a lot of ways, like that they've started to know me better from this music now. They understand kind of what made me and what makes me who I am. So there's like a there's a piece of it that's definitely like a love letter to New York.
Oh,
there's pieces of
Yeah.
it that is just like these places where you're gonna find yourself thinking and talking about things that, because every song, the most beautiful thing about music is the way that it is personal.
Yeah.
You know, it's personal to me and it's personal to you. And so I find that people really feel like when they describe what it means to them, it's amazing where it takes it. But the most important thing for me was to create a dialogue, a conversation, something that we could like all get into. Like, how are we feeling about inner beauty? How are we feeling about, you know, addiction? How are we feeling about these very interesting topics about us as
Yes.
people that I think you're going to really get into and be like, whoa, what does that mean to me?
Yeah.
What's mine?
When you first decided to wear no makeup, was the team concerned? Were they like, hey, listen, chill a little maybe? Or were you like, look, this is what it is, I'm doing it, and, you know, were there pushbacks?
You know, there wasn't, it wasn't like that really. It wasn't like this whole thing where we had like a big meeting. It was like, okay, here's the next step that we're going to do in the branding. What we're going to do is we're going to create, you know, it wasn't like that. It was like a very natural thing. We had talked about it because one of the things we talked about, even while creating the music again, which so much of it came from conversations, was even just like the excessive almost difficulty it is as a woman or a girl to like live up to this image of perfection that we're shown. And it's like, whoa, I don't know who that is. I don't necessarily see myself in that. And just talking about how does that feel when, you know, as a girl, you know, you grow up and you see, you know, different people and like all the magazines are super airbrushed. And
Oh, yeah.
it's like, nobody looks like that. Not even the person who actually modeled there looks like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's not even their fault, because it's happened to me. There's been times where I get back a thing, I'm like, my arm is not that size.
Yeah.
Like serious, and it's scary. It's like freaky and weird. And so again, so we just would have conversations about like potentially being conscious about that, and like really just like making sure that we were, and I was really who I am. Like, this is who I am.
And I think that's important. It was funny. I was like reading up articles, and there were some people who were like, well, yeah, it's easy for Alicia Keys to wear no makeup because she's beautiful. And it's like, but that's the point. You know, she's doing what she wants to do, and you could still wear makeup. She's not knocking you for wearing makeup.
Definitely. It's really metaphorical. Yeah. Really, it's a metaphor and this is just my story.
Right.
This is my personal story for me to remember to be fully who I am, and not to feel like I have to change who I am to please another person's desire. It's like, be who you are and say how you feel and be fully immersed in your you-ness. And hey, that means I wear makeup. That doesn't mean I don't wear makeup at all. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean I don't like lipstick and I don't like some blush and I don't put on like, it's not, and some days less and some days more. It's like, it's all good. It has nothing to do with makeup. Right. It has to do with like us as people, as human beings, as women, being comfortable to be however makes you feel good. Do it for you.
Yes. What was the one thing you would say you were insecure about? Because so many girls look at you and they're just like, you're insecure?
I know what you mean. But yeah, I'm totally insecure. We're all insecure. Yeah. Like, we're all trying to figure out, you know, who we are, and like, man, how do I deal with that thing? And how do I deal with that issue? I mean, you know, I think that on so many levels, one of my biggest things has always been like, really, I found like, even with this album, one of the reasons why I started really talking so honestly and so clearly and trying to understand, like, because I found that I even became so censored. Like, I became so like politically freaking correct.
Yeah.
It was like too much.
Yeah.
I'm like, so now I can't even have an opinion Now I can't even have an opinion. Now it's to the point where I'm actually like a picture on the wall only smiling like this can't be good. You know, this can't be good. So I actually started the record off really writing like a kind of crazy list of like all the things I was annoyed at.
So great.
Which is I encourage, and you need to kind of update it.
Yeah.
I probably need to do a new one, you know, currently. But it was so liberating to just talk about that. One of the main things I was annoyed at was myself. I was annoyed at myself for valuing people's opinions of me so much that it would change the choice I would have made naturally for myself so that they would approve of my, you know, my choice or my opinion. And that started to become like too much, you know, and I feel like we kind of do that as human beings, but especially as women. Ugh. Like, I don't subscribe to the whole like women are catty thing. I don't believe that. I feel like we have much camaraderie and much love for each other, and we want to help each other and see each other win. But I feel like we as women, at some point we learned how to please people. Yeah. So much that like our first thing is, what are you? Yes. How can you? And it's part
do I need to do something? What do I need to do? Is it me? It's like, God.
We really want to please people so much. And I think, and there's nothing wrong with that. Look, that's a beautiful way to be, as long as you then don't forget to please yourself.
Absolutely.
Which is hard to do, like, because you're so focused on, you want to please your kids, you want to please your husband, you want to please your mother, you want to please your boss, you want to please everybody has to be happy. Are they happy with my performance? Are they happy with, Yeah. It's pressure. Like, whoa, can I be off? Can I be off for a quick second?
Let's just be
cool.
Yeah.
It's okay. So it's like a lot. And I think, you know, it's a lot to talk about, which is what this music is so beautifully and wonderfully doing, and being able to have that conversation. And for me, just to be like, okay with me talking about my thing too.
How is it being married to a musician? Do you guys get on each other's nerves about music? You're like, no, listen, Swizz, you're not going to tell me how to write this. I mean, do you guys have these, you know? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think mostly we don't normally work together, actually. Mostly, you know, he does his thing and I do my thing. And that's very cool. And then we kind of connect at some point. We're like, oh, babe, I just did this thing for like, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I love this part. And I'll say, oh, I just came back with this. Oh, that's dope. What if you put a little, oh, I like that idea. You know, that type of thing is normally how it goes. For this album, we did work together, and we didn't mean to work together. And the funniest part was the first day that we actually started writing together, I was just in the studio I'm a loner. Like, I'm in the studio kind of by myself. Great. Yeah. I do my own thing. And I was just in there one day listening to some music. And sometimes I just like it was the very beginning, so I was creating the vibe and what was happening. I was just listening to music, like, what am I feeling? Where are we at? And he came in and kind of sat down on the couch. I said, what's up? I was like, hey. So I just kept playing my music, and so he was like, we should work on something. And I was like, well, right now I'm actually I'm actually playing some music right now, so I'm just kind of just chilling, doing my thing. He was like, okay, no, that's cool, okay. Oh, that sounds good. So like 10 minutes passed. So I'm just playing my vibe. I'm playing like Miriam Makeba, and I'm just digging. I'm finding some interesting things. He's like, so why don't we go work on something? And I was like, what? Babe, right now, like, I'm not really trying to work. I'm like taking stuff in. You know what I mean? I'm receiving a vibe. Yeah. So.
All right, I guess we'll do something. All right.
So
what's on your mind?
He goes away. I finish my thing. You know, I was like, okay. So I try to find him because I'm about to head home, and he's downstairs in another room. Kill it. Like, this thing he was working on was crazy. I walk in the room like, whoa, what is that? He was like, I tried to say we should work on. And that night, I remember, was the night that we started to write. And it was just totally natural. We started to write these lyrics for this one song that's actually on the album called She Don't Really Care, which is like, wait till you hear this. And we wrote it driving home in the car. And by the time we got home, this song was written. And I was like, we should do this again tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just saying.
I kept trying to tell you, but you kept dismissing me.
So mostly it's very natural, you know,
love that.
and it's really easy. And again, we have all our own world, so it's all good. He lives in his world, I live in my world, and sometimes those come together. And and sometimes even it's like, actually, babe, I don't like that. And he might say to me like, nah, I'm not feeling that thing, and it's cool, you know, it's cool. It's like that's part of the creative process.
Do you guys still have date nights? Yes? Is this, like, give us some game out here for, like, the women watching and the men that are watching. Like, hey, you still got to do these things when you're married. Like, you got to do the date nights.
I feel like, you know, the most important thing is absolutely finding those special moments, because we're so good at, and for anybody in the beginning of everything, you're like, oh, we're going to do this, and we're going out here, and oh, let's like try this and do this place, and oh, I found this cool, that place. And, you know, you're all exploring and trying things and everything at the very beginning. And I think, you know, because he and I are like really best friends. That's awesome. So we settle in a place where it's like, we're cool, and we're not like all out stressing each other out. Like, it's like we also have similar lifestyles, so that we can say, oh yeah, I understand. Like, I totally get it. You got to travel for this thing last minute, or you got to be out here pretty late. Like, we get it. We're not like bugging out over those type of things. But I think really the most important thing is like to plan the time together, because it's easy. One of the things that we realized early is that we could schedule each other right out of each other's lives. Like, we could be like, I'm here.
Exactly.
Here. But when are we gonna get together? So we learned that real early, and so like, you know, even on Father's Day, we took this beautiful trip together, and so just making sure that there's time. Even I was saying actually to Ebro that like I learned like we got to even schedule like morning cuddle time.
Yeah. Oh.
Like you do, because 6 a.m. and then the baby's up, and then boom, you got to get the kids ready for school by like 7:30, and then whoa, and then by that time you got to be to work by 10 or something, and then finish over. Like you're out the bed at 5:30, and like that's it. You're not coming back. So there's some mornings I'm like, well, hold up, let's make sure we have like like a little sleep into 9, like a little like sleeping time, and it sounds crazy, but I think it's relevant to many people who have families and jobs, and you know, how do you make sure that there's time for you and your number one, you know, and all, of course the kids are so important and your family is so important, but like the way that it started has to be like honored. It's not easy either. It's not easy, but when you put time and thought into it, and I think what's also important is that each partner has to say if they're feeling like maybe that's slipping.
Got it.
Before you get all angry and you not doing that, and you ain't never the last time that we, and before you get to that point, man or woman, say, you know, babe, it's been a minute since we got a chance to like hang out and be together, and like let's make sure we don't like, let's plan something. I feel like you have to say that before it gets to the place where then you're angry about it.
I 100% agree.
You know, that helps.
Look, you know, a line I like to use is, you know, we need to connect. You know,
can we connect?
I just want to hang out. You know, that means like I'm going crazy, and things are about to get real fucking nuts right now.
So you better figure someplace to take me before it gets wild out here.
Just use that line the other day. It's great.
We need to connect.
Yeah, we need to connect. And down deep inside, like I'm fuming.
Right, you are furious. It's important before the fury comes, because it's hard to control the fury. Once it's there, like there's no turning back.
It's there.
And we get really silent, like, as human beings.
Yeah,
we get really like, no, it's cool. No, everything. We excuse it all when we know we're not cool.
Yes.
It's like, just don't be cool. Be like, nah, I'm not cool with that. Like, nah, that's not cool. Trying to work on that. Just like in the moment, as opposed to hours and days later. Like, be in the moment, say like, nah, that doesn't feel very comfortable.
And I feel like guys, not to give them a break, a lot of times they don't know. A lot of times they're like, oh, wait, you want what?
Yeah. I mean, how can you know if you're not saying it, right?
They're like, oh, I thought you were okay because you just said you were okay.
So don't say you're okay when you're not okay. Oh, because we do that. No, I'm fine.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm good.
Yeah.
You are not good. You're obviously not good.
That was so great, too. No, it's fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't lie. Be like, I'm not fine. It feels crazy and I'm upset. And like, what we gonna do?
Gosh,
it's hard, man.
If women just ran the world, it'd be better.
It would be. I agree.
Now let's talk about this mini film, because I went on the We Are Here movement website. And I was looking at everything. There's like a petition, to have President Obama address the racial injustice that's going on, within these next few months. So let's talk more, because I saw the clip. Is this a movie? It's a mini film?
Okay. All right. So weareheremovement.com is what we created to really address the injustices in the world. And we discovered and felt like through my different years of doing activism, realizing that you can't address one thing and not the other. Like, you can't address healthcare and not talk about women's empowerment. And you can't address like children at war and not talk about poverty, right? So it's like, so we created these 15 organizations that really do incredible work, and each of them together holistically are interwoven so that it can really help to make change for all the things that, a lot of the issues that I feel like we all want to change.
Wow.
So it's basically like a one-stop shopping for how to change the world in a way. So, because a lot of times, obviously, we all feel motivated or moved or frustrated or angry about things that are happening, racial justice, or we feel equality or LGBT rights, or, consciousness or women's rights. And, we feel moved to want to do something, but then what do we do? Where do we go? And so we focus on a few different issues that are important. And so the issue we're focusing on now, because today is actually World Refugee Day. Yeah. And the refugee crisis is one of the potentially the biggest crisis in the world. I mean, there's 60 million people that are displaced, like, that don't have a home.
So sad.
Whoa, 60 million. That's like a crazy number. I can't even. Yeah. Right. And so one of the other things that I would love to do, like some of my favorite artists of all time, Marvin Gaye, Curtis Mayfield, Nina Simone, John Lennon, have used their art to really like talk about what's happening in the world. And so this short film is called Let Me In. And it takes the refugee issue and it brings it to America. Because I think what happens also is that we look at it like, oh, they over there are going through this whole thing, And, many of the people who are so-called refugees, have very successful careers, are family people, obviously, with children and homes and houses and mortgages and, stuff that you and I have, you know what I mean? And so we brought it here to America, actually to LA, and we put it in a day in a life of like, imagine, this explosion happened around you and you're displaced yourself, and what would be the closest border from Los Angeles is Mexico. Right. And that's where everybody would be trying to get to. So, which is actually a similar distance between Turkey and Syria. So it's a really ill way to look at what's happening and put it into perspective, like, what if this happened to you? And so it is ill. When you see this film, it is crazy. If you don't feel something at the end of this film,
something's not
you don't
right.
even have a heart.
Yeah.
It's really powerful.
Okay, so they can see the entire film
right now. Right now. World Refugee Day is right now. The film is in honor of World Refugee Day, and the song that's in it is a song off of my album called Hallelujah. Right. And it is the theme kind of to this topic, and it's ill. The combination of the visual and the music and the story, it is like crazy. So then the goal is for, you can see it at weareheremovement.com, and we want you to sign up. We want you to share. We want you to pledge. And really, We Are Here movement is about creating an army that we can, like, together figure out, like, here's all these issues and here's what we can do. There's very simple things that we can do that move things for real.
What do you think would be the first thing you would do?
I mean, I would have my boys, I'm trying to figure out what's the safest place. Really, this film addresses, you'll see it, and it addresses a lot of this. I think one of the craziest parts to think about, and while I was shooting it, it was like, I was in this little boat, because I mean, you know, so many people are traveling in these little rubber boats like across oceans and oceans and days, and I was in one of these little boats with this boy that was playing my son, and I was like freaking out. I was freaking out because it's a massive amount of people. You don't know them. Everyone's in the same, you know, frantic state. Like, whoa, what are we doing? What's going to happen when we get there? And I think that's the other thing that's pretty crazy. You're trying to get somewhere, but then what happens when you even get there? A lot of times you're turned away. You're not welcomed in. Then what do you know? It's, ooh. So, and then even the thought of what do you take?
What are we going to eat? Simple things. What are we going to eat? How are we going to dress? How are we going to bathe? Where are we going?
What do you take?
The things we take for granted that we have every single day.
It's ill when you go after you see the film, and when you choose to pledge, you know, if you're moved to pledge $1, whatever you're moved to pledge, it represents what you can help people get. These everyday items: blankets,
so crazy.
Water, food, books for writing. You know, kids spend years out of school because nobody will take them in, or they don't speak the same language, or
it's crazy.
You know, it's like, it's deep, it's powerful, and I really can't wait for y'all to see it.
Now, I saw on your Instagram a post of Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Did you see his memorial service or bits or pieces or anything?
I saw a little, one of the speeches, a couple of the speeches were crazy.
So powerful. What
a man, though. What a like, when I search for quotes, I search oftentimes for Muhammad Ali. I mean, you know, and just what a person, what an intelligent person, somebody who was so thoughtful about, like, kind of challenging just the everyday, you know, things that are assumed to be true, and just saying, like, whoa, let's think about this a little bit further.
Yeah.
And really, you know, incredible human being.
We've lost such great legends this year. I know that obviously Prince, one of your favorite musicians, you've even sampled his song. And I mean, how, when you first heard the news, how did you take it?
I kind of said that I felt like almost these greats felt like the world wasn't, you know, good enough for them anymore.
I really like that.
You know, it's just like Bowie and Muhammad Ali and Prince, and like so many, you know, some expected, some unexpected. I mean, we all know, you know, life is going to come to an end for all of us. You know, sometimes it feels like it's too soon or whatever, but it's just, it is really hard to kind of look at some of the greatest, most talented, you know, progressive people who really like pushed the opportunity forward and changed the way of like people looked at people and possibility, and it's sad to see them go, because it's like, man, I don't know, maybe in a way it's also leaves it on our shoulders, you know. It leaves it on our shoulders to be you know, to hold a certain standard of like, what are we gonna leave?
I really love your outlook on that. That's nice. It's refreshing. You know what I mean? I think especially in these times.
Right.
Now, let's talk a little bit about acting, because you're on Empire.
I was.
You like it? You like acting? You got the bug right now? What's going on?
I've loved acting for a long time. You know, I've done some films in the past. Secret Life of Bees was like my favorite film that I did. I also did this crazy like cult classic called Smoking Aces, which was just totally outrageous, with Ray Liotta and Jeremy Piven, and that was nuts. I've loved acting for so long. It just hasn't quite, it's not as easy to do the music thing and the acting thing, you know, and of course music is like my baby, so it takes top priority for me. But I love it. So when we got a chance to do the Empire piece, and Lee Daniels has been a friend for a while, actually a friend of my mother for a while. My mother's an actress. She grew up in New York City theater, and so she's the one that gave me that kind of like love and passion for it. And when he called about this show and the episode and what he wanted to talk about, because you know he's all about like these issues and kind of you know speaking about different interesting things. I loved it. I was like, we gotta do that. I loved it. It was 2 episodes, but people were like, "You're not coming back? There's not gonna be more."
You're like, well, maybe. I mean, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, you've done just about everything. Like, I'm trying to, like, in my head, I'm like, oh, she's got Grammy, she's done this, she's a mom, she's a wife, who's left for you to work with musically? Like, that you really want to make happen eventually, somewhere, some way, somehow.
I think that, and it's ill, I've been thinking about this a lot lately because I'm like, I never got to make my song with Prince.
Yeah.
Like, man, I didn't, here you are thinking people are going to be around forever. And then they will,
musically, right.
But I'm like, man, we were supposed to have something together that we created, and I didn't get to do it. And so kind of I've been thinking about that. I'm like, wait, Sade is somebody that I really would like to do something with. Lauryn Hill, for the longest, I feel like we have definitely similar spirits and energy that I'd love to create something with. I love the vibes. I love FKA Twigs vibes a lot. I love Alabama Shakes.
Nice.
You know what I mean? I think they're absolutely crazy. Man, I think that there's still so many dope people. I really like Anderson .Paak. I think that he's dope. I think there's so many interesting people just like doing their thing. And so, I like Chance the Rapper a lot.
Yeah.
I think that he's dope. So it's just like, there's a lot to do. There's so many ways I feel like I'm just starting. You know what I mean? And
I love this from you right now.
It's just, I feel like I'm just cracking the tip of even my greatness. You know what I mean? So I really get very excited about all the things that are still, coming.
Alicia Keys, I could literally talk to you for hours.
It's good.
Like literally hours, from high briefs to like everything.
We didn't talk about high briefs.
Yes, this was
We'll
before the
next
camera.
time.
Yes, we're going to save it for the next time. When the album comes out, we're going to talk about this.
Exactly.
I absolutely love your energy. I love what you're doing and what you stand for, and it's needed. And,
Thank you, Mama.
we really do appreciate it.
Thank you. That means so much to me. I love you.
Yeah, I love you, man.
Great to build and talk. Congratulations on
Thank you.
everything you're doing. Keep shining and
Thank
being
you.
like busting all the doors down.
Hey, we
busting
gotta
all
do
the
it.
doors down.